Webinar control panel. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, Luke.
Hey, what's up, Paul?
What, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Cool.
Oh, someone popped a
Did you
beer.
hear that? I know, right?
All right, let's see. Show screen.
Oh, it's a good one, too.
What's the beverage du jour?
So, there's this brewery in New York that my wife and I really like called Hudson Valley Brewery. And we have a hookup up there and we get it shipped down to us because it's not like distributed. This one is a, let's see, it's a sour IPA with wheat and malted oat, basmati rice, milk sugar, Japanese plum, sea salt, lemongrass. It's weird, but
Yeah.
it's pretty delicious.
All right. Let's see. Can you see my screen?
I can. Yeah, it's got a Word doc.
Yeah, perfect. That's all I want. That's all we're going to have. No prep.
That's the way to go sometimes.
Well, I think it's more beneficial to let everybody or whoever wants to talk, like learn more than that way than sort of just presenting BS.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Where can I? Where's my chat button? I'm trying to get send an update today, all day today on Facebook, but damn, freaking Facebook's all over the place.
Yeah, I did finally mark it as an announcement in the group. The post from yesterday, but even that I had to try it like 4 different times today.
Okay, that works. Huh. Not letting me type into questions over here. I can hear some background noise too.
What's that?
I said I hear all your background noise.
Oh, yeah?
Or something.
What is this like?
All right,
I've got
got 8 minutes to go.
You got a fan running and got all the dogs locked out, so hopefully they won't make too much noise. Oh, you heard that. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, my wife's traveling for work, so whoops.
Oh, there you go. Then you can have 2 beers.
Yeah, I know, right? So I've got all 4 of the dogs to myself.
What kind of dogs?
We've got a Great Dane mix. That's our biggest dog. And then an Italian Greyhound. And then like a pit bull mix puppy.
God, all over the place.
Yeah, and then a Chihuahua mix. So all rescues, so they're all mixes, but yeah, so 4 dogs to manage. And she usually does all the dog managing, so when she's out of town, it's like, it's a whole bunch of work all of a sudden for me to do it.
Let me hide everybody's email address here.
Yeah, and take me off there.
Take it. Oh, for the contest, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there we go. Congratulations.
I'm not on here either, am I? No, good. Anyone that wants to chit chat before we start, use the chat little thing down on your screen, and then I'll unmute you. We'll start in. Actually, I got 5 minutes, so. Can you see what I wrote?
I can, yeah.
Okay. You're on twice for some reason. It's all right.
Yeah, I've got it on my computer and my iPad. Trying to bump up your viewers, you know.
Ah, yeah.
No, really, I do the audio through my computer because it does a better job, and then I like to watch on the iPad.
Oh, there you go. Let's see here. I'm going to start with.
I'm not seeing your screen anymore.
No, I turned it off so I can go get a video up.
Gotcha.
If I can find it. Huh. Huh. Interesting. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm trying to find a particular video, which is a good way to start. I can't find that. They must have taken it down after all these years. Hang on.
Oh, yeah?
That's one of my go-to. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I got it. Perfect. Now I'll show my screen. All right, we'll start. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. We'll wait 1 or 2 more minutes, and then we'll get going. Just because if people log in late. And again, everybody starts in a mute mode because we don't hear the background noise or you're watching porn or whatever. So if you want to talk, there's a couple different ways. You just raise your hand. I'll unmute you, assuming you have a microphone. Or you can just use the chat feature or ask a question, and then I'll repeat it and we'll throw it out there for answers. Just like I said, we'll give 1 more minute for the stragglers. We're about 75% of the people that registered logged in, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, nice.
All right, we'll start at 9:02. That's my dog.
Yeah, sounds like a grumpy dog.
Nah, she's 15, and could you actually hear her whining?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, she's 15,
Not
and
bad.
her job all night is to get above the covers, get below the covers.
Mm-hmm. We've got 4, so yeah, I feel you. There's always one.
Yep. The other one's the boy, and he. Let me just put the cover on her, so shut her up, and then we'll get going. All right, let's get started. All right, so again, for the people that just came in, everybody starts in mute. If you want to ask a question or participate in a conversation, then you can raise your hand. If you've got a microphone, I'll unmute you. Or the other way, obviously, is to use the chat line or ask a question. Chat would typically go to everybody, which is a good thing, or the question will come to me. I can read it out, and then I'll throw it out there for answers. Just before we start, people have opinions. It's great. Not everything is, there's not one single answer to many questions, I guess. So I appreciate the group of the last couple sessions we've had. Been pretty cool, pretty cordial. No trolling and all that bullshit that we see on the forums and sometimes on Facebook. So just want to kind of keep it that way. And if people have problems, well, here's a special tribute to you. Turn up your microphone, turn up your speakers.
I'm not getting any audio.
Not getting any audio?
No, not from the video.
Oh, crap. Oh, it's a whole series of Go Fuck Yourselves. So I'll put the link.
Why don't you just reenact it for us?
Nah, that's all right. I'll put the link here in chat. and people can listen to it on their own. So, but I couldn't find this video originally, but I send this video out a lot. So, because it's just the whole 55 seconds of people saying, go fuck yourself. So anyhow, hopefully nobody needs to go fuck themselves while we're doing this. But so last time a group met, there was about 40 or so folks. And it was just sort of open mic night. And, we asked a poll question, like, what do you want to talk about? And we gave a whole bunch of different options for people. And there was two that were pretty close. One was sourcing materials, and the other one was upgrades. And I think upgrades is like a whole different kind of universe to talk about anyways. Because there's so much different stuff out there. But anyhow, what I thought we would do tonight is talk about sourcing, materials for carving, wood, acrylics, whatever. And I'm going to open this Word document here, which everybody should see, and I'm going to write down the answers here, so people that are half paying attention or drunk or whatever, they can look up and see what people are doing or what they're sourcing, et cetera, et cetera. And then I can use this doc and share this doc, after the webinar. The webinar is or should be recorded, so I'll try to post that online. Last time I didn't have a setting set. Tonight I think I've got it set properly. So anyhow, so this is going to be predominantly open mic, and I'll just start for purposes of conversation, and again, right, wrong, or indifferent, over the last year, kind of where I've been sourcing my materials, and I'll kind of throw it over to Luke, sort of co-presenting here, and then we'll just sort of throw it out here. So, I'll just sort of, I love oak. Oak is one of my favorite wood pieces to carve. It comes out, it's nice and hard. It comes out, the grain comes out really nice. And I live in the Northeast, so I live in New Hampshire, and so I don't see a lot of there's my dog running around. I don't see a lot of where I live on the seacoast of New Hampshire. I don't have wood mills or anything like that. So unfortunately or fortunately, I get my oak from Home Depot. So generally I have to kind of pilfer and preview everything. But I'm usually getting cuts, from them. I don't buy boards from them. I make them cut, which just saves me some extra time at home here. So I like tonight I've probably spent $200 on oak tonight just by itself. And it's not too bad. Obviously I price everything sort of 2 to 3x what the wood costs me. So, but that's where I've been predominantly getting my red oak from. Maple, I go to a wholesaler. Hang on, my dog's barking again. Highland Woods. So they're kind of wholesale, resell, and they're pretty good. I mean, it's just a big lumber yard for the most part. So, and then walnut, I've challenged with walnut. I mean, the big box stores don't carry it, at least around here, and I've been actually buying some smaller pieces on Amazon. Because I'm mostly getting the hobby wood, and this is really for, quarter inch or half inch or quarter inch thickness. I think that on the big box stores they call that stuff sort of hobby wood, and I use that stuff for inlays and various pieces. Um, and I found that there's a pretty wide selection there, and there's no shipping charge for Prime. So I like that. I just kind of pay. But that's where I've been getting my stuff from. And that's pretty much, I mean, there's some, I'd love to talk about MDF or HDF. I don't like using it too much, but there is one piece that I carve that I use MDF for. Just it's really comes out nice, and so I get that at Home Depot as well, and it's cheap. So it's like like $8 or something like that for a 24 by 24 inch MDF board. But I'd love to talk about MDF, HDF, and where other people might be sourcing some of that material from. Not that I want to use it too much. Haven't really got into any of the, the PVC stuff? There's so much, so much shit out there that I see people carving. Oh,
yeah, there's a million different options.
Cedar, I use cedar. I love to talk about cedar. Wholesaler is wrong. Wholesaler. I just finished a piece with cedar today. I find it really frustrating. So, wholesaler, and I get it from Highland Woods. Wholesaler. Why am I spelling that wrong? Huh. Lumberyard. Basically, let's keep it simple. I like the idea of cedar, but it typically cracks on me. I find a lot of knots in cedar. It kind of drives me a little nutty. So, okay. So just as a question, Wilson Coronado talked about bits as I was talking about MDF. Wilson, for MDF, I'm using, I do these sort of compasses that just hang up on the wall with the GPS coordinates in the middle. I can, let me see if I can bring one up here. I just finished one. Where is it? I'll just bring one up. Sundial, I call it. It's a compass. So I do these. That one's not. I do these compasses, and I actually prefer to use MDF for these because they're pretty intricate, and they, So this is like one I did for some real estate agents. Let me bring up one I've actually produced so I can do the, let's just do this one. Yeah, so this one's, this is probably the only one that I do in MDF now, just because I like how it comes out, and it's boom, boom, boom. So I'm using a variety of bits. Everything's a pocket on V-Carve. I'm using from a 1-inch bit to an 1/8 inch bit on these things. So I'm just grinding out pockets all the way through. And this one has a V bit on it just for this particular one. They wanted some wording in the middle, but everything is a pocket or a profile. So I'm using 1-inch bit. I'm using a 1/4 inch bit. And then for the real nitty gritty, I'm just doing different pockets for an 1/8 inch, and then the profile on the outside for 1/8 inch. And, just cranking through that like that.
So that 1-inch bit, is it a surfacing bit?
It's not actually. I bought that off of Tools Today. It's an Amana bit. I could use it for a surfacing bit, but it was designed for wood, not just MDF. I think it was a $50 or $60 bit, but it cranks. I got a whole shitload of oak I got to carve into with it, and it just tears it right up with quality. So yeah, so I'm not sitting around. The difference between 1 inch and a 1/4 inch, which was the bit I was using before, is I'm like 10 times the faster with the 1 inch bit. So I find myself have to doing a little sanding on it, just because there's always a little rough spot here or there, but it's night and day difference with that bit. I'll see if I can. Which bit is it here? Oh, it's doing its thing. I'll go into the toolpaths in the tool database, and I'll show you which one. Oh, HDU was another something, yeah. Up there, that one's done. This one should be cranking. Yeah, so this is sort of this little. And if anyone ever wants some of these designs, I don't have a problem sharing stuff like this. We're not in competition with one another by any means. So, but these little sundial, things are pretty cool. Like this one takes maybe 3 or 4 hours to crank out with a couple bit changes. But I sell them. I think it cost me $8 in MDF, and I sell it for about $60. So just machine time. It's all good. Tool database. Yeah, it's this one here. My mana tool number or tools today 45236 is the one. Let's see if I can bring that up.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so I bought that sort of on a whim because I was sick of this 1/4 inch, rigmarole, and I was like, oh my god, I got to be selling something better to crank through wood. And again, we're a little off topic, but that's okay. 45236. Yeah, here it is. And again, use it for wood. I use it for MDF. Yeah, and does a good job. I mean, I have a feeling that one's going to probably blunt out a little bit faster than some of the other bits, or become less sharp. But I've had it for about 3 or 4 months now, and it's still doing a good job. So, yep, straight bit. Pretty cool cut, and works well with the X-Carve and the 611. So, anyhow, see if we've got some questions here. Question from Ron. Am I using these through easel? And yes. So right now, still I haven't made any move over to other like CNCJS or anything, but that's what I want to do eventually. So yeah, I do my design work here on my home PC upstairs, my workstation, so to speak. And then I upload, and I do it all with V-Carve, a desktop. And then I just save out the G code and upload it to easel, and then my machine's in the basement. So I just go down there and, get the wood ready, and off I go. So it seems that process seems to work for me so far.
Have you had any issues with internet with easel?
No. I mean, there was a while there where easel was disconnecting from the PC that I have down there, but I found out it was my son resetting the router. So I pulled the plug out from the router. And
Nice.
I'm like, what the hell are you doing? So, but I also think that might have been some electrical interference down there. I haven't had that problem, knock on wood, for probably 2 or 3 months now. So, but yeah, no, I haven't. If that ever became a big issue, I would switch in a second, because I can't. I don't want to waste wood or time. That's the last thing I want to do. And if easel gets in my way, that would be the end of that real quick. So, we'll get to, there's a question about G-Code or Fusion 360. Why don't we hold off on that one just a little bit? And then there's another question about using V-Carve direct to the machine. I haven't, Darren MacArthur asked that one. I haven't actually done that. I've just gone V-Carve to easel to then to the X-Carve. So I didn't even know there was
there's a software called VTransfer. I've got it on my computer. I've never used it, so I believe that's what they're talking about. But yeah, I've never hooked it up to the machine.
Just V-Carve right to the Xbox. So yeah, I haven't seen that interface or I haven't heard about it. So if it works better than easel, and again, I easel serves a purpose. As long as it continues to function effectively with the uploading G code, I'm not, like I said, I'm not pressed to make a switch over to something else. I definitely see a difference between creating the G code out of VCarve though, and creating the same product out of easel. It's a whole different world of performance between those two software systems. Like, I don't know, easel seems to be extremely inefficient in creating G code, but that's just me.
But simple.
What's that?
And accessible. But simple and accessible. That's the important part of easel is.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it still works for me. I started off with it, and I used it for a few months, and then I upgraded to VCarve desktop. And I'll probably go pro at some point when I get my machine tweaked up a little bit wider and faster and all those other good things that people want to do. Yep. Luke, why don't you talk about where you source stuff besides the trash pile? Because I know that's you're rummaging always through your neighbor's garbage pit over there. So
yeah, so I live in a neighborhood that's under construction, and
I knew it.
You know, why not, right? So the vast majority of what I cut is metal. I probably haven't had wood on my machine in 3 or 4 months. If you want to get into cutting a little bit of metal, my recommendation is to go to Amazon and look up a vendor called Stoner Metals. They are in Colorado, which Stoner makes sense. And I've done a lot of work on this, pricing it out at different places. And for low volume stuff, they've got about the best prices you can find.
That's you can find on Amazon?
Yep, and it's free shipping. They do a good job. About every 3 months, though, all their stuff goes unavailable one day. And I don't know if they're not paying their Amazon fees or what, but so it didn't work for me anymore, running a business. I had to find something else. Luckily, I found a vendor locally, just a metal supply company. Called them up and said, hey, can I buy a couple sticks? And they said, sure. And now I'm buying 10 or 12 sticks at a time, 12-foot sticks. I pay them to cut them in half, so they're 6 foot, just so I can get them home easier. But
when you say sticks, what do you refer to as sticks?
12-foot piece of aluminum extrusion.
Okay.
So, big piece of advice is don't be afraid to call those more industrial supply places. Every single one that I've ever called, even with very low volume stuff, has been more than willing to work with me.
What'd you call them?
Plywood. What's that?
Industrial supply?
Yeah, the places that you see big trucks on the road delivering to the industrial area. Alro. For me, it's American Metal Supply is my aluminum supplier. For plywood, if you live Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, there's a company called DSI, Distributors Service Inc. They're like an appointment only. You can't just walk in and look around. But if you call them and say, here's what I'm looking for, you can buy a single sheet, 4x8 sheet. And a lot of these places are very, very willing to work with low volume. You don't have to feel like you got to buy a whole stack of material to talk to them. DSI, the first time I went in, I bought a single sheet. Now I'm buying 10, 12, 4x8 sheets at a time from them. So they're willing to work with you.
You're not getting the cheap plywood. You're getting probably
Baltic birch or Russian
Baltic birch.
birch, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it's, from them, it's, I want to say it's like $50 or $60 a sheet, which isn't bad for a 4x8 3/4 inch sheet. So call those people. If you're looking for, if you're willing to deal with inconvenient sizes, 4 foot by 8 foot's not easy to haul around. 12-foot stick of aluminum, not easy to deal with. But if you're willing to do that, call these people. You'll save a ton of money. Stoner Metals, like I said, cheapest that I've been able to find on the internet. American Metal Supply is less than half the price, getting it locally. So don't be afraid to call those people.
Yeah, the industrial. So someone asked a question about acrylic. I haven't done any acrylic yet. It's on my hit list. Luke, have you done any acrylic or sourced any acrylic?
Not.
So why don't we throw that out to somebody who has sourced acrylic in the past, and raise your hand or throw it out there and chat, and then tell us where you're getting your acrylic from, because I need to get some acrylic at some point. Anybody acrylic? Anybody for acrylic or SD plastics? How about you, Jacob? Are you? Let me see if I can unmute you. Okay. Jacob Voiles says SD Plastics out of San Diego. SD Plastics. Let's just check them out. SD Plastics. Here we go. San Diego Plastics. So SD Plastics. Pretty basic site. Lots of different vendors.
Definitely looks promising. The prettier the website, the more expensive the material is. So.
Yeah, that's true too. It's cheap for the website. So,
it's 100% true.
Let's see here. Acrylic. Acrylic. I think I can spell that right. SD Plastics. San Diego. Shipping. I don't know. They have a drop-in outside. $1 per pound. Oh, that sounds interesting. $1 per pound. And then there's another one, Everything Plastics in Philadelphia.
Sounds like local vendors are the way to go.
Yeah, I guess Everything Plastics. Everything Plastics. Oh. Interesting. So there's finished products. I'm not sure if that's Philly or not, but it says Philly After Dark. So yeah, okay. And then there's another one. Someone else is there. Delviesplastics.com. It's another one somebody mentioned. What about and then there's always eBay for everything, for specialties. What about this the sign stuff?
HDU.
HDU, yeah. So, because I started, I was looking at somebody's project was made out of HDU, and I was like blown away at how cool it came out. And they're like, "Oh, I used HDU," and I'm like, "Oh," so, and then I started pricing it out, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" So,
yeah, it's not cheap.
Has anyone sourced HDU? I'm still kind of catching up with the acrylic stuff. And by the way, if you want to be unmuted to talk, I'm happy to unmute you. I don't want to be sitting here yapping the whole time. So just raise your hand on that on your right hand side there. HTU, anybody? HTU? Anyone source HTU? I guess that's beyond the normal our level of usage for the X-Carve to some degree. So that's some real.
I know of at least one person who has. I'll send him a message and see if I can get an answer before the end of this.
Yeah, just like where are they getting it? And again, it seemed to like to be the big sign manufacturers. Like the industrial sign guys seem to be the places. The little that I did research on it locally was the sign guys. So not I didn't like find much of it or anything of it too much of it online. So okay, what else?
Especially when you get into the 1800 millimeter expanded X-Carves, HDU becomes a really good option. So.
Yeah, we got to buy in bulk too, right?
I guess you got to define bulk there. I think you can get a single sheet.
Yeah. So also there was one other topic here. So lumber yards. Scrap. Lumber yards are always, and then sawmills. I've reached out to sawmills as well, but they didn't seem to be. They really wanted to. The ones that I've called wanted to kind of sell more in bulk.
Yeah, so I get all the nice lumber that I have comes straight from a sawmill, Baghdad lumber here in Kentucky.
Baghdad lumber.
Baghdad, like you would think Iraq.
Yeah, that's funny.
But there's a town in Kentucky called Baghdad, and it is a tiny town, just out in the middle of nowhere. It's about an hour from my house, and but their prices are absolutely amazing. And I went there. I've been there once and bought $700 worth of wood, and then a year later, I still have most of it. So. But it's all raw, so you got to have a planer, you got to have a table saw, to break it down into the right sizes. But you save a ton of money if you can find a place like that.
Did you have to cure it too?
No, it comes. It's already been, cured. They've got a kiln. It's not quite raw, but and I think if you pay them, they'll cut it for you, but. Then you start getting into the Home Depot prices. So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. Again, my pricing strategy. I was looking for cheaper, or I should say, less expensive wood. But I just take the cost of whatever the material is, and 2.5 to 3 times at least what my hard costs are. That seems to be working for me, and my wife's not giving me the hairy eyeball anymore. But so, where else? Anybody else have anything different or interesting where they're supplying? Ollie, it was interesting. He does a lot of signs. He's on here, so I'll kind of give him some cred. He's been buying these. Carving boards on Amazon. They're hardwood carving boards, and I just bought it back myself because I want to do some inlays on it. I'm pricing out these things and pricing them out with maple, and I'm like, all right, buy this much maple, and I carve them out, and that's kind of cool. Then I was like, oh, I bought some of these maple, hardwood carving boards. It comes in like a pack of 3, and I think it was like 15 or 18 bucks. It was super cheap. And I've carved one of them. And it, like they said, it was solid wood. If I wanted to get super fancy, I do it all on my own, but I was just like, these carving boards, even with an inlay now, and I know a ton of people sell them, I don't, selling these things for 70, 80, 100 bucks. Some of the super nice ones I've seen going for that, but, you're competing against all these online guys that will do inlays and other things for, 20, 30 bucks online. So I'm like, I'm not going to throw tons of money at, unless it's made to order or something like that. But, I want to do a couple mock-ups of stuff and get it out there online and see what it does. But I thought that was a great solution. Like I said, I think it was like 18 bucks or something like that for a pack of 3. And it's been working great. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Chuck's been selling custom Ouija boards for 200 bucks. Holy shit.
Nice.
What are you using for wood? Actually, I'd love to see one. If you can upload or send it afterwards, I'd love to see one of your Ouija boards. Yeah, because I do mostly sort of the artsy fartsy stuff myself. And Luke, you're doing mostly metals, obviously. So when you're carving, are you doing signs? What are you doing? I've seen you've done some branding irons in the past. So what is it?
Yeah, so out of 100 hours of runtime on my machine, 98 of them are making upgrade parts. Almost exclusively making the same thing over and over again. But you go crazy doing that. So I do take on some custom projects here and there. Doing branding irons are always fun. I had a lot of fun doing one recently. And then stuff for family or family friends. I did a custom board game. It was actually really cool, solid cherry box, all carved. I mean, it took forever. And then I think the board was walnut. All the game pieces, made those. But that's very rare for me. I almost exclusively cut in aluminum all day, every day.
And on the aluminum, what types of things are you carving in aluminum? That's how I guess.
Just risers, stiffeners.
Okay, it's for your own business.
Yeah. It's almost exclusively that stuff. I do occasionally I'll make some aluminum parts for my neighbor or something, but yeah, a lot of repetition.
Okay. Jacob has a question. What kind of bit tooling are you using for metal?
Yes, so there's well, for one, you want like they call them 0 or O flute. Really, obviously there's one flute. The term doesn't really sit well with me, but single flute end mills are going to be the best starting point, at least for aluminum. And the reason for that is that the router turns too fast for aluminum. So when you go with a single flute bit, if you there's some kind of RPM, and if there's 2 flutes, you're getting a cut twice as often. So one flute slows down that cut relative to having 2 flutes. And the reason that you got to go slower, or I'm going to contradict that in a second, but the reason that you want the cut to be a little bit slower is you want to make sure you're pulling a chip. You don't want to be rubbing the material off. If you imagine the point of the blade or the point of the bit, you have to bury that deep enough in the material each time it spins around to take a full chip off. Otherwise, you're not quite deep enough. It's not really cutting. It's just kind of pushing, and that's when you get overheating and you end up breaking bits. So if you're getting a full chip, burying the flute deep enough in the material, the chip actually pulls the heat away because you're throwing those hot chips, and that's taking all the heat out of the cut for you. So single flute is the best place to start. You want to run your router slow, and you want to run your feed a lot quicker than you think. A lot of people want to try to cut aluminum at 20 inches per minute. You're just rubbing. You got to move fast enough to bury that cutting edge into the material each time the bit spins around. So generally for an 1/8 inch bit, I run it at 60, 80 inches per minute, maybe even more than that, depending on exactly what I'm doing. Obviously a shallow depth of cut because we're not running milling machines, we're running X-Carves. But yeah, so slow router, single flute bit, fast feed rate.
Yeah, metal's a whole different world. I have a couple sheets of aluminum that I bought online that I want to use to make these dog tag beer bottle openers. I just haven't gotten around to actually doing it. So yeah,
I'd say when you're just starting out, really shallow depth of cut, go somewhere between 60 and 100 inches per minute. When I say shallow depth of cut, we're talking thousandths, maybe 5/1000ths of an inch. That might even be too aggressive if you've got a stock machine. Router on the lowest speed, and then somewhere between 60 and 100 inches per minute. Listen to the machine. The machine's going to tell you if it likes it or not.
Yeah.
So.
And for the newer folks, that is tons of questions on feeds and speeds always. I had a million questions. Now I just listen to the machine. So,
Yep.
Crank it up higher or faster, or lower. Yeah, that's how I figure out I have a sort of an idea now, but I listen to the machine, and then, I haven't broken a bit based on feeds and speeds for a couple, probably 4 or 5 months now. Only stupidity.
But also, don't be afraid to push it. I mean, yeah, bits aren't cheap. I think having cheap bits is important so that you're able to push it, innovate, always try to be better than you were yesterday. Sometimes that means running it a little bit faster than you did yesterday and seeing if it breaks. And whenever it does break, you lost a bit, but you gain some knowledge, and you can really push towards excellence. So.
I just went online to my email just to bring up Chuck's. Can you see Chuck's Ouija board?
I can. It's beautiful.
Chuck, what is that? Is that pine or maple? Looks like pine. And are you lasering?
It looks like laser because you can see the wood grain through it.
Yeah. So it's not an inlay.
He's probably laughing at us. We probably have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah.
I guess the rest of that is inlay.
Could be. Well.
Or painted, I don't know. But
Chuck's still with us, but it's pine, laser engraved with X-Carve epoxy inlay, double coated with epoxy. Yep. Okay.
Well done. That's beautiful.
Yeah, $200.
Yeah, keep it up.
What you got to do is put magnets in the wood so it freaks people out because it moves on its own. So. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have? Questions. Good job, by the way. Chuck, thanks for sharing. $200 is a good price. A piece of pine like that. Really? So, the amount of work going into it too is a lot. So you're definitely in that right neighborhood. What else do people have questions on for sourcing? Or let's get to some of the miscellaneous questions that people have asked. We can address those, and then we'll just sort of open it up to anything else. And I'll update this little Word document because I know there's some other places that people have thrown some questions out to. Let's see, how often are we doing these seminars? Tom Ulger asked. I try to do them. I've been a little bit remiss and have been busy in my day job, but I try to do one every month. Pick a topic and just sort of throw it out there and see who wants to participate. So, because I as much as I consider myself, even after over a year, sort of a very newbie on this, and I'm making mistakes all the time, and I just want to learn, and I'd rather learn as a community and share information than just try to figure shit out on my own all the time. So, yeah, Mike uses Universal G-Code Sender. A ton of people use that. A great community on UGS. Lots of content out there. I don't disagree with you. I just haven't got around to using it yet. See, Darren MacArthur, install 9.5, which he's talking about V-Carve, options to install transfer. Yeah, so Darren's new to V-Carve, but he did get the transfer and he's used it a couple times without any issue. So that goes from V-Carve right to your X-Carve, which if that's the case, I'll make that leap in moments. So I'll have to check that out. Let's see what else we have here. Miscellaneous questions. eBay, no experience. I think also it'd probably be nice to have a webinar where people just sort of show their work and then maybe talk about how they did it. I think that would be helpful, especially some of the shit I see online. I'm like, oh my God, how the hell they do that? So, yeah, and Jacob brings out another topic about maybe another later topic for anybody who's 3D printing, using 3D printing in conjunction with their machines or projects. So, yeah, totally. Because I keep going back and forth between either buying a laser or buying a 3D printer. So two different animals, but it's like, it's limited budget.
I got into 3D printing recently. I was afraid of it. So I did a lot of 3D printing 10 years ago and then totally got out of it. I was afraid to get back into it because I didn't think I had the time to learn it. It's not a big jump. It's pretty easy. If you've got the CNC stuff, 3D printing is not that hard to pick up. So
good. All right, so we're coming up to an hour. I guess I'll throw it out for any other topic. We didn't really talk about upgrades, but I really was trying to hope to get a whole bunch of pictures together that people have with pictures of people that they've upgraded their machine, because that's typically how I see and learn. So like, hey, look at all these machines that have been upgraded, the X-Carve, EX-Carve. Yeah, it's pretty funny, but, and then just like, all right, what is that? What did you do? Where'd you get that part? I think we should, I think maybe the next topic, since that was the next highest popular one, was, and just get a whole bunch of pictures together of people's rigs, as they're upgraded, and then just have people talk about their upgrade path. Like, what did they do? What did they do first? What kind of challenges they had? I think that would be really, helpful for the community. As well. So I think they want to throw that out. But if anyone else has any other topics, throw it out there in the questions. And then if not, I'll use the random number generator and we'll just pick a winner for the $100 gift card here from TBD CNC, which is Luke's business. And Luke, by the way, just thank you. I know, we're not affiliated or anything. I appreciate your time and you donating something to the community here. It's always helpful.
Yeah, no problem. It's the least I can do for you setting all this up. So.
Oh, Charlie just came in. So, Charlie Thomas, welcome. So, our buddy Charlie.
I guess we have to stop saying bad things about him now.
No, we're never saying anything bad about Charlie. So, So, Charlie with the triquarta. I always pronounce that wrong. Triquarta, which I use religiously every day. So, all right. So why don't we do this? Why don't we do the random number? So we've got 26 people on. So what I've done here is, let me just get rid of 1 and 2. You should see my spreadsheet. So I'm going to use an online random number generator. And if you're on, you'll win. If you're not, then I'll pick the next one. So random number generator. And let's see, 1, 2, how many people do we have signed up there? 36. '22. Let's see who 22 is. Jonathan Jenkins. Is Jonathan on? You gotta be here to win. Eric Crook. Eric Crook, where are you? Hang on a second. Unless Eric, you just came. Eric just said, I don't see my name there. So hang on a second. I pulled this like 5 minutes before. So let's put you on here. Crook. And then we have Eric E. Eric E. All right, I'm just going to put names in here so nobody's calling me Eric E. Chuck Sanders. Do we have Charles Sanders in here? No. Sam Jorina. Huh, it's weird. Sam Gironda. Looks like a lot of people either registered late but I'll be happy to add you. Because the first person I picked wasn't even on. So anyhow, if I just see if I've missed anybody. Going once, going twice. We've got 41 now. All right, let's go use the render. 27. Clint Gavin. I don't think I saw Clint on. No, I would have remembered seeing him pop up. So nope, Clint, you're not on. Sucks to be you. 41. Now 41's gonna pop because that was Tom. Tom's on because he just saw us. He just gave me his name. So Tom, bing, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner. So
congrats. Yeah. Good job speaking up.
There you go. Yeah, good for speaking up. I'll have to make sure I do that next time. Make sure everybody's name pops on here and maybe run the report as I'm sort of doing the webinar or whatever. But all right, so Tom, if you're okay, I'll send Luke your email. If you're not okay with that, just reach out to Luke on his website, TBD CNC, and he'll make arrangements with you for all that good stuff. So I'll let you guys. Oh yeah, you're so fine. I'll send Luke your email, and then you guys can hook up from there. So, but anyhow, so I think the next one, unless anybody thinks otherwise, and we'll probably do another vote next time, will be upgrade paths, that sort of thing, and people can show their rigs because even within probably 3 to 6 months of me getting my X-Carve working, I was drooling over what do I need to do next to upgrade it. So, which is that machine is really nice to, it's fun to upgrade, I think. So as much as I swear about it, but yeah, I think it's a fun platform to work with. So, anyhow, I appreciate everybody coming out. It's about 7 minutes to go. Please feel free to send an email or, we'll certainly spread the word for the next one. And like I said, we'll have an open Q&A for for upgrades next, and it won't be it'll be all kinds of different stuff as well. So thanks everybody, and we'll talk soon. All right, bye.